Welcome to r/Best of Redditor updates, where OP's life is ruined by her boyfriend's split-second decision. Our next Reddit post comes from r/True Off My Chest. I'm a 26-year-old woman, my fiancé is a 30-year-old guy, and his son is 5. The three of us were out getting Chipotle on March 14th. On the way home, we reached a busy intersection with a blinking yellow light. My fiancé was driving, and I could tell that he was about to go. I saw a car coming fast, and I very clearly told him to wait until the light was green. I don't know if he didn't hear me, didn't take me seriously, or just ignored me, but he kept driving forward anyway. And we got T-boned by a car going 50 miles per hour. Everyone else walked away fine, including his son, thank God. But I was crushed. I ended up with 2 full breaks in my pelvis, 2 fractures in my tailbone, fractures in my L4 and L5 vertebrae, and a fractured sternum. I was, and still am, in so much pain I can't even explain it. I wouldn't wish this kind of pain on anyone. I was rushed to the ER, where everything was a complete blur, except the trauma. I started having intense flashbacks, panic attacks, and nightmares about the crash and the pain. I had to undergo surgery where 2 7-inch steel screws were inserted in my pelvis. At the hospital, they gave me a back brace that was way too big for me. The nurses and physical therapists even admitted that they didn't measure and just guessed my size. Even when we told them that it was too big, they didn't do anything about it. And despite this, they expected me to stand up and move around wearing it. That brace did nothing for support. Moving in it felt like my spine and pelvis were being ripped apart. The pain I was in trying to follow their orders to stand and walk was inhumane. All I remember from those days is pain, frustration, fear, and this overwhelming sense of helplessness. After about a week, I was transferred to a physical rehabilitation center. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to bathe. I didn't want to move. I was so depressed and in so much pain that even thinking about shifting in bed made me cry. I had to depend on strangers for the most basic things, going to the bathroom, bathing, even feeding myself. As someone who's always been independent, it was utterly humiliating and devastating. I'm home now, but my recovery is far from over. Doctors and physical therapists all told me the same thing. You have the second worst kind of break that anyone can experience. You'll need at least a year to recover, if not longer. You can't put weight on your right leg for 3 months. No bending, no twisting. And even after the 3 months, it'll be a very slow process. And that's the part that's eating me alive, because before this, I was finally getting my life together. I was working on my health. I was eating right, doing CrossFit regularly, getting stronger, and finally meeting people and socializing. I had just gone back to college. I was finally building structure into my life after being recently diagnosed with ADHD. And now it's all on hold. I can't work out. I can't leave the house unless it's for a doctor's appointment. I can't do anything by myself. And it feels like I lost everything I was working so hard to build. And even though my fiancé has been supportive through all of this and is helping take care of me, I'm so angry at him. I told him, I warned him, I said, don't go, wait. And when I asked him why he kept going, he just said, I don't know. And that I don't know is now costing me an entire year of my life. Maybe more. And I'm the one who's paying for it every single day. So, yeah, I just needed to get this off my chest. I feel trapped in my own body. I feel like I'm grieving the life that I could have had this year. I feel angry, sad, helpless, and I'm just trying to make sense of it all. But mostly, I just want my life back. I know this is temporary. I know I'll eventually recover, but losing a year of my life, my sense of normalcy, and my peace of mind is really, really tough. Then OP posted an update clarifying that everyone was wearing a seatbelt. A lot of people have asked whether my fiancé has shown remorse and how he's been supporting me since the accident. The answer is yes, he's been devastated. He's apologized to me multiple times. At the crash site, in the hospital, during rehab, and at home. He's also been having panic attacks himself as of lately, something that he never experienced prior to the accident. There was one moment where he called me panicking because he couldn't find his truck keys and desperately wanted to come see me to make sure I'm doing okay. My mom had to drive over to calm him down and help. He also continued to visit me frequently in the hospital and at the rehab center, and he's been advocating for me when I had issues, such as the back brace that I was given, which was clearly too large. Side note, despite multiple people from my family, fiancé, and even the PTs mentioning it, the hospital staff didn't replace it. It wasn't until I called the hospital a week later, frustrated, that they finally took action. I had to put on my Karen voice and explain that their failure to properly size the brace was actively hindering my recovery. Eventually, I got a new one in a smaller size. Fun fact, the brace only comes in 2 sizes: small, medium, and large, extra large. I'll let you guess which one they gave me. My fiancé has also been helping me understand the insurance claim process. From what we know, I may be looking at around $100,000. Additionally, at home, he's made sure that I have what I need to recover. He just bought me a $300 bed frame that moves up and down, similar to the hospital beds I was used to, because I can't move up and down normally without feeling pain, or being at risk of re-breaking something. He's also been cooking for me and for my visiting family, helping me clean up, assisting with daily tasks, and has made it clear he doesn't expect me to lift a finger and only wants me to focus on healing. He even told me how he's going to halt his plans on expanding his side business so that he can spend more time tending to me during my recovery. With that said, I've seen a lot of comments saying I should leave him or even sue him, calling him arrogant or careless. I understand those reactions, but looking back, I would have to admit that this was an honest mistake that anyone could make at any time of the day, at any point of time. A bad mistake? Yes, but nonetheless, simple human error at the end of the day. I'm just angry that it's happened to me, but that's something I'll have to work through on my own. The saddest thing about this is OP doesn't seem to realize that this isn't going to cost her a year. This is going to cause pain, suffering, and health issues for the rest of her life. Our next Reddit post comes from r/relationship advice. Today is mine and my boyfriend's 2nd anniversary. Though the first 6 months of this we were friends with benefit, so I don't think it counts, but he does. I don't talk to my parents. I haven't said a word to them since I was 16. I don't want to put the reason here, but it was bad enough that me never speaking to them again could be seen as them getting off lightly. I left home at 16 by marrying my best friend. He knew what was happening the whole time and wanted to help me. And it was bad enough that marriage was the best escape plan that I had. It was the only way to avoid being dragged back home. I had tried running away before this. But me and my best friend divorced 5 years later. I took his surname to avoid being tied to my parents, and my friend and I are still close. He actually set me up with my current boyfriend. My mom contacted me right before Christmas. I deleted my old Facebook and then made a new one back in November, and forgot about the privacy settings until Mom messaged. She was asking if her and Dad could see me on Christmas Day. My boyfriend saw the message and asked who it was. I admitted she was my mother. This led to questions, as the only time I talked about my parents was to say that I don't speak to them. I said that she found me, but I wasn't going to reply. I said I have my reasons, which I'm not ready to tell yet, but I would as soon as I was ready. He said that was good enough for him. I blocked her and moved on. It's been a few months, and I've been trying to tell him, but it's hard. It's like every time I try, I just can't get the words out. And then tonight, on our 2nd anniversary, he proposed using my nan's ring, which my parents had. I asked where he got it, and he told me that he had gone to see my parents. He got my mom's name when she messaged me, contacted her, and went to see her within a few days of me getting that message. The whole time knowing that I didn't want to hear from her. He'd asked them for permission to marry me, and they'd given him Nan's ring because Nan always meant for me to have it. I don't know if I actually dumped him, but I definitely told him to leave. But I didn't actually break up with him. He's at his sister's place right now and keeps calling and texting me, wanting to know what he did and asking me to call him, and his sister, who I'm friends with, is also asking what happened. I knew that he was traditional and he put a lot of stock into family, which is why he's so close with his family. But he knew that I didn't speak to mine and never pried into it. He just took me at my word when I said that I'd tell him when I was ready. And when I said that, he'd said that he was patient and he could wait as long as I needed. Then, the next day, OP posted an update. My ex-husband was not happy with my boyfriend, to say the least. And he told me that my boyfriend had actually asked him what happened about 6 months ago. But my ex-husband had said that it was up to me to tell him when I was ready. And my boyfriend said that was fair enough, and he'd wait for me to tell him. My ex-husband hadn't told me any of this because I had only just asked my boyfriend to move in with me and he didn't want to undercut my happiness, which he apologized for and said that he won't do again. So my boyfriend comes over, my ex-husband is already there, and my boyfriend asks why my ex-husband is there. I say that I invited him for emotional support when I tell him everything. My boyfriend isn't happy, but sits down. I then began to tell him. The first thing I said was what they did to me in the bluntest language possible. I started to elaborate when my boyfriend interrupted and said something like, "They told me you'd lie." My ex-husband tells him to watch how he's speaking to me, and my boyfriend says he'll speak to me how he likes, and then tells me that he knows the truth, and implies that I should be thanking him for sticking around. The truth being that my parents told him that I was always unstable, refused to see a mental health professional, and eventually they caught me breaking the law, and rather than report me, they grounded me, and I ran away rather than get grounded. All of which is absurd, and I honestly can't believe that he bought it. My ex-husband tells my boyfriend, or rather my ex-boyfriend, that he has half an hour to pack his stuff and leaves. And if he speaks to me at all, his time goes straight to 0. My ex-boyfriend packed his stuff and left silently. So to recap, my ex-boyfriend knew that I haven't spoken to my parents in a decade, that I got married at 16 and took my husband's surname to escape and hide from them, that it was bad enough that I still have nightmares over it, and that I would tell him when I was ready. Within a few days of hearing point 4, my ex-boyfriend sought out my parents and asked permission to marry me based on his own gut feeling about them. Because the vibe he got from their texts was a far better judge of character than my 16 years living with them. They fed him lies about me, which he bought, and he gave them information which includes my full name, job field, place of work, and possibly my address. While they haven't done anything with this information yet, that I know of, my ex-boyfriend has stayed in touch this whole time, so if he messages them saying I broke up with him, they might decide to pay me a visit now there's no longer a man in the house. My ex-husband has offered to stay with me temporarily. I don't know if I have grounds for a restraining order, but it might be time to look for a new place. I'm honestly not sure what's worse here, the ex-boyfriend going behind OP's back and reaching out to people that she's been no contact with for years and years, or believing them over his girlfriend, his fiance actually. Why would you believe two complete strangers over the person that you apparently love enough to marry? Huh? That was r/Best of Redditor updates, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.